Hey everybody, this is Dr. Freeman. I just wanted to go over the answers to the CSGO quiz that I just posted because I know a lot of people don't know all these things and it can really help in certain situations. So I'm going to go over the answers. Might as well jump into it. So looking towards a bomb explosion reduces the damage taken. That's false. It was true in previous versions of Counter-Strike, but not in Global Offensive. The only thing that matters is distance to bomb. So being behind a wall reduces damage. That's also false, because the only thing that matters is distance. You can scope in while defusing. That is true for all weapons. As long as you keep looking at the bomb, you can spin very fast while defusing. This is false. They patched this a while ago, so it's no longer true. You can't just spin in a giant circle or spin rapidly while defusing. You can switch weapons while defusing. That's true. You can drop your weapon while defusing. That's true, as long as it's not a knife or grenade. If holding a grenade while defusing, you could press your alt fire to toss it. That is true. You don't have to do anything special. As long as you can throw the grenade, right-clicking will throw it. If you prime a grenade, then start defusing, then let go of primary fire, you'll throw the grenade at full strength. That is true. Test this myself. You can do that. If you start defusing, and then right-click, and then primary click, and then let go of right-click, you will throw the grenade at full strength. So that's like right-clicking, you prime it to drop, and then holding down left while you still hold right, you'll do the middle throw, and then letting go of right, you'll do the full throw. And this series of events is true. You can do this. So armor with no helmet will protect, well, not your head, but your chest, stomach, and your arms, not your legs. Armor is not important against weak guns like pistols or SMGs, because those guns don't do as much damage as rifles. So armor is definitely more important against weak guns, so that is false. Okay, so armor reduces the amount your screen jumps when you get shot by an opponent, called aim punch. That's true. More armor you have, the more aim punch is reduced. That's false, because armor does not reduce aim punch. So, sorry, it doesn't depend. It's false, but it just doesn't depend on how much armor. That's it. Player with no armor is standing in a certain location and the bomb goes off. That player takes exactly 100 damage from the bomb. If another player and the bomb are in those same spots, this player has 100 armor. How much health and armor would they lose? So basically, if somebody would have taken 100 damage with no armor, how much would they take with armor? And so to get this, you need to know that half of the damage is blocked by armor, so they'll lose 50 health. And then the question is, how much armor would they lose? And they lose half of the amount that it blocked in armor. So they lose 50 HP and 25 armor. I left an out in case you didn't feel like reading this question all the way, but it still marks it wrong. The maximum amount of armor you can lose without dying due to bomb damage, right? So if you were to lose 50 health and 25 armor, that would mean you could basically lose 100 health and 25 armor, but since bomb takes priority, you can actually lose 50 armor without dying. So when a bomb goes off, you can lose 1 armor without losing any health. So in this case, you can lose 50 armor and 99 health. So that's why the answer is 50 and not 49. Player with 100 HP and 100 armor is shot in the chest by an enemy using a MAC-10 until they die. How much armor did they lose in total? So I left this, this question as around some amount. I think if you put around 25, around 45, or around 35, you should probably, mark it right, but the right answer is around 35 is how much armor you lose against against most SMGs. It's around 35. Around rifles, it's around 20, and for pistols, it's around 50. So opponent with the same setup is shot using an AK until they die. How much armor do they lose in total? So rifles, penetrate armor quite well, so that it doesn't block as much, so you don't lose as much armor. Player with 100 AP, 100 armor shot with a Glock until they die. That's around 55. But really, if you'd guessed anywhere around 55, 50, 65, or 45, it's probably fine. if you didn't know the exact amount, but most people get this, wildly off, and that's not good. You don't lose that much armor against a Glock. M4A1, that's another rifle, and it's around 20, but if you put something around that, it's probably fine. And then Deagle. So Deagle is an exception to the pistol rule because Deagle has very high armor penetration. So armor does not block very much damage. So this, I thought it was weird, but it's actually around 5. You basically don't get much protection against an armored opponent, but it does reduce aim punch. If you have armor and a helmet, being shot in the head does cause you to lose armor. Enemies can hear you switch between weapons. That is false. Enemies cannot hear you switching between your weapons. The only exception to this is when you have a primed Molotov, which is the enemy can hear the fire, and if you switch off of that, they can hear the fire stopping. But generally speaking, enemies can't hear you switch between weapons. Enemies can hear you scope in. That's true for all of them, although it really isn't as loud as you think it is. It's pretty quiet. Enemies can hear you slash the air with your knife. That's true. You slash the wall with your knife. That's true. Enemies can hear your footsteps. Hopefully you get that one right. Sort of a gimme. Enemies can hear you toggle. Burst fire. True. Enemies can hear you begin to plant. Enemies can hear if you were planting but stopped. They cannot hear you stop planting the bomb. So that's false. Enemies can hear you begin to defuse the bomb. Yes, it makes audible noise. Enemies can hear if you stopped defusing the bomb. So they cannot hear if you somehow stopped, but they can see it with the wires, if they could see the wires. So enemies can't hear you stop defusing the bomb, so it's false. Enemies can hear you jump. Not talking about the landing, just jumping up. That is true. It's pretty quiet, and it may have been a factor in the recent ESL Pro League final with the clutch with Canadane. I think that's how he knew that his opponent jumped up. Okay, so enemies can hear you reload. True. Check boxes for the grenades. Enemy can hear you prime. So they can't hear you prime any grenades except for the Molotov, which they can hear the fire. And then, of course, they can hear you throw all the grenades. They can always hear that. You're not very accurate when you move while shooting. If you're moving at all, speed is more than 34% of max move speed. 34% move speed with the weapon you're holding, and then those two same options, but for 50%, for 95%, and then moving does not make you inaccurate. Okay, so it's going to be 34% of the max move speed with the weapon you are holding. Yeah, so inaccuracy in Counter-Strike is basically very low up until this threshold, and then once you exceed this threshold, you begin rapidly decreasing in accuracy. Decreasing in your accuracy, if that makes sense. So, being crouched while shooting increases your accuracy, does not decrease recoil pattern size, does not increase damage done, does not increase fire rate. How do you go up the ladder faster? Pressing forwards while looking like this, strafing into the ladder while looking like this. This is the fastest way. You have to both move forward and strafe. You can also alternatively look down and go backwards up the ladder. That's also a way that's fast. As long as you're basically looking, as long as you're sideways to the ladder, you'll go up really fast. And you have to push two keys, forward and backwards, forward and sideways, or backwards and sideways. Both the sideways are into the ladder. Okay, so move speed while crouching is around 33%. It's actually 35%, so if you're at max move speed while crouching, you exceed that 34% movement threshold. So be careful with, moving, just sort of crab walking around corners or something like that, because you'll be inaccurate. Your max move speed while walking is around 50%. I think the actual number is like 52%, but and it does scale with your weapon. So walking with your knife out is faster than walking with your gun out. So it's 50% of max move speed with your weapon. Fastest way to come to a stop while running is going to be counter strafing. So letting move key and pressing the key in the opposite direction of your movement. Section is on your knife. We'll call primary fire left and alternate fire right. Okay. Left, right, left, right, right, right. Fastest way to kill 100% opponent with armor is left, left, right. It's slightly faster than right, right. And then right, left, right, left, I think doesn't even kill the enemy. Left, right doesn't even kill the enemy. And then left, 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 left is definitely the slowest option. The range for left is longer than the range for right. That is true. And it is one of the factors that lets you win knife fights if you know the range of your left click very accurately. That'll help. Knifing someone in the head deals more damage than anywhere else. False. It's only in the back. Okay, so that was great. I hope this helped you out. It really helps us build our website that's trying to help people get better at Counter-Strike. So that's pureskill.gg. It's an automated coach. We try to go around and tell you when you're making sort of distinct mistakes, like moving while shooting. And so knowing how many players know that moving while shooting, or how the moving while shooting mechanics works, helps us write these sort of assessments. So check it out if you want. It's free. And I hope this helps you learn a bit more about Counter-Strike.